What's up, YouTube? It's your boy Nash here. Welcome back to the channel. Now, before we get started with this week's episode, sorry, let me rephrase that. Before we get started with the final episode of WWE's biggest issue of 2023, the road to 200 subs has now come to a close, and we are now on the road to 500 subs. Who knows? Who knows? Maybe we might hit 500 subs by the end of the summer next year, which lands in the middle of September. Only time will tell. But as I have said in previous videos, if this channel does get to 500 subs, I will open up this Korean LOB booster box in its entirety on the channel that I got from my partners over at Collector Store. So be sure to check them out. Link and address will be in will be in the description below. By checking them out, not only does it support them, it also supports the channel, and I would greatly appreciate it. On the hopes to potentially pull a Blue Eyes White Dragon, a Dark Magician, a Red Eyes Black Dragon, a Piece of Exodia, Monster Reborn, Pot of Greed. Excuse me. The possibilities are out there. However, if this channel gets to 1,000 subs, I will open up this first edition Toon Chaos box in its entirety on the channel that I also got from my partners at Collector Store, on the hopes to potentially pull a collector's rare out of this set. But it wouldn't be the first time that I pulled a collector's rare, because I also pulled this. A collector's rare B-Cup from the Underworld from Genesis Impact. This thing is absolutely incredible. Obviously, the centering on the back is a bit off from top to bottom, but honestly, it really doesn't make much of a damn, because I am going to be getting this card graded. Never really came up with a good opportunity to do so. But with that being said, if you guys want to see those boxes get opened, excuse me. Excuse me. Maybe you guys want more episodes of WWE's biggest issue. Maybe you guys want more episodes of Yu-Gi-Oh's biggest issue. Deck profiles, card discussions, WWE topic videos, or maybe, just maybe, you guys want some premium live event predictions and results. Well, if you guys want all of that and more, my channel is the place to be. So if you guys are new to the channel, and I know that a lot of you guys are, make sure you guys subscribe to the channel, turn on the notification bell, smash that thumbs up button on this video, and as always, make sure you guys are following me on all of my social media. My ads will be in the description below, as will the info to my fan mail. It'll also be in the description as well. And I want you guys to post in the comments below answering the question of the day, which ties with this week's episode, which is this. What would you consider to be your favorite WWE match of 2023? Let me know down in the comments below. Because for this week's episode, it is a top 5 list. Normally I would do a top 10, but obviously you guys know there weren't a whole lot of matches that were like 5-star matches, if you will, and there were only like 5 of them that were 5-star matches. There were, however, a couple of honorable mentions, if you will, but I'm going to be revealing the top 5 greatest matches of 2023 and talking about what we could potentially see next in 2024. So let's get straight into it with the honorable mentions. We have 2 of them, and the first one is Rhea Ripley versus Zelina Vega for the SmackDown Women's title at Backlash in San Juan, Puerto Rico. Obviously, this was one of Rhea Ripley's like first title defenses since camera moves. Sorry. Since winning the SmackDown Women's title from Charlotte Flair at WrestleMania, and obviously since becoming the quote-unquote leader of the Judgment Day, she hadn't had a whole lot of matches in 2023, but Usually when she is in competing in the ring, she tries to make it 5-star worthy. This match was no different. However, the only problem is that this was probably one of the shortest matches for women's wrestling in history. And while it is true that Zelina Vega did have quite the showing, she failed. But it proved that but this match, it proved that Zelina Vega had arrived in WWE in spite of being in WWE for such a long period of time, dating all the way back to 2017, 2018, when she had aligned herself with Andrade Cien Almas as his business associate, if you will. And now with her being in the LWO, one can assume that with the Royal Rumble coming up really quick, we might see her win the Rumble and go on to WrestleMania to challenge Rhea for the title, which is possible. It's possible, but only time will tell. But this match definitely deserved to be on the top 5 list. But I put this in the honorable mentions because excuse me, mainly because of the fact that while it is true that it was a great match, it's, as I said, this match was only on the card because it was Zelina Vega's coming out match, if you will. And what I mean by that is she basically showed up. She showed up to San Juan and came out of that match an even bigger star than she was when she was in NXT, if that makes sense. But the other honorable mention, Ilya Dragunov versus Carmelo Hayes at NXT No Mercy. This was a banger. I will give it that. This was a hell of a banger. And what's interesting about this is that you look at Dragunov and Carmelo. Melo had held the NXT title since winning it from Braun Breaker at Stand and Deliver back in April. And what's interesting is that this was literally the match. That match, Stand and Deliver, was the match that turned Carmelo Hayes from a heel to a babyface, because we knew that the moment Braun Breaker was gonna lose that title, excuse me, we knew that he was gonna eventually turn heel. And this was basically that match right there was the best way to get both superstars to switch sides, if you will. This one, on the other hand, was basically a battle of two baby faces duking it out for a title that has a lot of prestige. And Dragunov, let's not forget, Dragunov was injured when he was the NXT UK champion. He had to relinquish the title because of a knee injury, and even though he was owed a rematch for the NXT UK title, he got a rematch for the NXT title. Quite a few rematches, if you will, and this time was indeed the charm. This match had so much promise. The only problem that I have is the fact that during this time we were still trying to figure out. During this time, Trick Williams at No Mercy had just become the NXT North American champion. And while it is true that Dragunov did win the title, I think this was the match that Carmelo Hayes was needed to jump ship over to the main roster. And whether or not he stays on SmackDown is still a mystery, but I will say this: both these matches had the potential to be on this top 5 list. But let's be real. Let's be real. These five matches that I'm looking at might just surprise you. And we kick things off with number 5, Roman Reigns versus main event Jey Uso for the undisputed WWE Universal title in tribal combat at SummerSlam. This was probably one of, if not the biggest match in Jey Uso's career as a singles competitor. Yes, it's true that over the years, even with teaming with his twin Jimmy over the years, during their time together, they both had quite a few singles matches over the years, and this was one of the biggest matches of Jay's career, and that match proved that Jey Uso deserved to be a world champion. And even though he failed against both Roman Reigns and Seth freaking Rollins, I'll admit it, Jey Uso has gotten so much better in the ring as a singles competitor than he did when he was with his twin, Jimmy. So this match definitely deserved to be on the top 5 list. However, though, this is Roman Reigns we're talking here. We knew that the Bloodline was going to get involved. We knew that Solo Sikoa was going to get involved. But I never would have imagined that Jimmy Uso would stab his own twin in the back. I said it before, I will say it again. Watching your own twin stab you in the back and then rejoin your family, your bloodline, if you will. That's like watching your girlfriend cheat on you with your best friend, and then your girlfriend asking you to get back with her. You don't do that. It's bullshit, and you don't do that. Let's just be real. Let's be real on that, you guys. So I'll admit it, Jey Uso, hell of a match. That match proves he deserves to be world champion. But speaking of the Usos, coming in at number 4, Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn versus the Usos for the undisputed tag team titles at WrestleMania 39 on Saturday night. This was a hell of a match. The first time ever that the tag team titles were being defended in the main event of WrestleMania. Yes, we may have had the Raw and SmackDown women's titles main event WrestleMania. We've had the WWE title main event WrestleMania. We've had the World Heavyweight title main event WrestleMania. We've had the Universal title main event WrestleMania. We even also had a regular one-on-one match main event WrestleMania. We even also had the streak get defended. The WrestleMania streak get defended in the main event of WrestleMania. But the tag team titles, never in history. That night was the night. And this was probably by far one of the greatest, purest forms of tag team wrestling any one person will ever see. Because you have 4 guys, 2 teams. Those 2 teams legit hate each other. Excuse me. And it was all to see who would become the greatest tag team of all time. And KO and Sammy proved it. KO and Sammy proved that in spite of being enemies with one another over the years, when they get right down to it, they proved that they can get the job done as a cohesive unit. And honestly, this match definitely deserved to be on this list, because even though the Usos lost this matchup, it was by far one of the greatest tag team wrestling matches we had ever seen ever. Name one other tag team wrestling match that was that fucking good. Because I certainly can't. I certainly cannot name any other match, any other tag team match that was this fucking good. Just saying. Just saying. But since we're on the topic of Sami Zayn and Jey Uso, coming in at number 3, Team Cody versus the Judgment Day inside War Games at Survivor Series, just, ironically enough, last month. Think about that. It's been a month since Survivor Series had commenced, and you look at what had transpired, right? This whole thing with Team Cody and the Judgment Day kind of started right after WrestleMania, when Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn had constantly defended the undisputed tag team titles against Balor and Priest of the Judgment Day, and then of course too, Cody Rhodes got involved. Jey Uso randomly got involved because Cody and Jey became tag team champions by defeating Balor and Priest at Fastlane. At what was it, at Fastlane? Yeah, literally, yeah. Was it? Yeah, literally at Fastlane. Think about that. And then obviously too, Balor and Priest ended up regaining the titles a couple of weeks later, and then for some reason, Drew McIntyre of all people got involved in this whole situation after Crown Jewel, after his loss to Seth Rollins at Crown Jewel. And then of course Randy Orton got involved. And you look at those 10 men: Jey Uso, Sami Zayn, the World Heavyweight Champion Seth freaking Rollins, Cody Rhodes, Randy Orton, Balor, Priest, Dom, JD McDonough, and of course Drew McIntyre being a part of the War Games team, but not a part of the group. You look at those 10 superstars, they legit hated each other. This was a battle to see where the power lied. And in this scenario, the power lied within Team Cody. Because here's the thing. It's as I said before. Just because you won the War Games advantage doesn't mean that you're gonna get that W. Team Bianca on the other hand, they proved that theory wrong. But in this scenario, the theory remained the same, and I gotta admit that match was incredible. Absolutely incredible. Probably one of the best War Games matches I had seen. I would probably say since 2019 with Team Ciampa versus the Undisputed Era, and I actually did a review video on that back in 2019. So if you guys have not checked out that video, I recommend you guys check it out, because it was absolutely that card alone was absolutely insane. But coming in at number 2 is Seth freaking Rollins versus Braun Breaker for the World Heavyweight title at NXT Gold Rush. This was right before... What was it? Right before Money in the Bank, if I remember correctly? Yeah, I believe... Was it? Yeah, it was right before Money in the Bank, right around that time, back in July, where Braun Breaker basically called out Seth freaking Rollins and said, "Hey, I want your title. I want your title." Seth was like, "You know what? I accept. Let's go." And even though Seth Rollins won that match, it proved that Braun Breaker even though he had been a part of NXT for about 2-3 years, that match proved that Braun Breaker belonged in WWE, in spite of having the the old Steiner Brothers attitude, if you will. He basically he earned it. Not only did he earn the respect of Seth freaking Rollins, he also earned the respect of pretty much everybody around him for putting up a hell of a fight against Seth freaking Rollins. So props to Braun Breaker. But now we move into the number 1 slot, and I know what you guys are thinking. You guys are probably thinking it's gonna be a main event match at some premium live event, and you're right. But not just any premium live event. It is not just any premium live event. You guys remember the number 4 slot. It was the main event of WrestleMania Saturday. The number 1 slot, the main event of WrestleMania Sunday. Roman Reigns, Cody Rhodes for the undisputed WWE Universal title. Honestly, excuse me, I never would have ever thought that we would ever see Cody Rhodes in the main event of WrestleMania. Yes, he has competed at WrestleMania several times in the past. Excuse me. Against guys like Randy Orton, guys like Randy Orton, Rey Mysterio, just to name a couple. This was the first time in the Rhodes legacy that a Rhodes was in the main event of WrestleMania. Now obviously there have been rumors that 2024 WrestleMania 40 that Cody Rhodes is going to be in the main event of WrestleMania 40 on Sunday against Roman Reigns. If these rumors are true, then we might just have ourselves a little flashback of John Cena versus The Rock. But this was a huge main event. In spite of the Usos getting involved, in spite of Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn getting involved, in spite of Paul Heyman getting involved, in spite of Solo Sikoa getting involved, that match proved that Cody Rhodes can hang with the big guns and still walk out as champion. He basically proved it. And I think that this whole year, since that night, I think that Cody has truly evolved from the man that we saw that night on Sunday to an even bigger star than he already was when he entered WrestleMania. And what I mean by that is the fact that he won War Games, he beat Brock Lesnar twice in a single year. He became tag team champions with Jey Uso, and not only that, even like, I think, was it before or after? I think it was after WrestleMania. He challenged Austin Theory for the United States title and had a hell of a match against Theory. So I think, honestly, 2024 is going to be a hell of a year. Obviously, 2023 there was a lot of ups, quite a few downs, and I mean that quite literally. When I say a few downs, there were more than just a few downs. But aside from all that, WWE had a hell of a year in 2023. And I think the only person that we can thank for that is Triple H. I think Triple H gave us some great matches. And these 7 matches included And I can't wait to see what 2024 has in store for us as the fans. But with that being said, that will do it for this week's episode. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. If you did, make sure you guys smash that thumbs up button. If you guys are new to the channel and you guys want more episodes of WWE's Biggest Issue, make sure you guys subscribe to the channel, turn on the notification bell, and follow me on all of my social media. My ads will be in the description below, as will the info to my fan mail. It'll also be in the description as well. And on that, this is your boy Nash, signing out.